The betrayal of Jesus by Judas Iscariot is one of the most infamous moments in history, leaving people to wonder why Judas, one of Jesus' 12 disciples, would commit such an act. The creators and cast of The Chosen, a popular series about the life of Jesus, have explored this question, offering insights into the character's motivations and struggles. Luke Dimyan, who plays Judas in the series, along with Alaa Safi, who portrays Simon the Zealot, and Dallas Jenkins, the show's creator, shared their thoughts on what might have driven Judas to betray his teacher and friend. Luke Dimyan, who embodies Judas in The Chosen, describes his character as a person who seems to make every mistake possible. In a video released on September 5th, Dimyan explained that Judas is a deeply flawed individual. According to him, he's literally a line of mistakes. This idea sets the tone for how Judas is portrayed in the series, as someone who constantly stumbles in his understanding of Jesus and his mission. From the beginning, Judas is portrayed as someone who is overwhelmed by his choices and his place among the disciples. Despite his commitment to follow Jesus, Judas struggles to grasp the deeper meaning of what Jesus teaches. This confusion leads him down a path of frustration and poor decisions, eventually contributing to his betrayal. While The Chosen remains faithful to the Bible, the show's creators, including Dallas Jenkins and writers Ryan Swanson and Tyler Thompson, take creative liberty with the elements that are not explicitly described in Scripture. This allows them to explore Judas' inner struggles and motivations in a more detailed way than the Gospel accounts provide. Jenkins himself pointed out the challenge of depicting Judas, knowing the audience is aware of the betrayal to come. The question he and his team had to explore was, what would have potentially caused him to break bad? This question opens the door for the show to dig deeper into Judas's character, examining the choices and mindset that led him down such a tragic path. One of the central themes in The Chosen is the disciples' journey to understanding who Jesus really is and what his mission entails. According to Ryan Swanson, Judas had a profound misunderstanding of what Jesus was offering. He struggled to grasp what it truly meant to follow the Messiah, something that eventually led him to a place of disillusionment. Dimyan, reflecting on his portrayal of Judas, said the character was extra tone-deaf to Jesus' message. He couldn't fully comprehend what Jesus stood for, and this lack of understanding is one of the key factors that contributed to his growing frustration. Judas even justified his decision to steal money from the group's funds, rationalizing his behavior as a small misstep. Dimyan explained that Judas had given up everything, his job, his house, and his former life, to follow Jesus. And when things didn't go as he expected, he felt increasingly isolated and vulnerable. Another important element of Judas' story, as portrayed in The Chosen, is his unmet expectations. Judas believed in a certain vision of what following the Messiah should look like, and when Jesus didn't fulfill those expectations, it created a sense of confusion and frustration. Jenkins noted that Judas felt like there were always obstacles in the way of Jesus and his mission, which only added to his inner turmoil. Jenkins also mentioned that Judas wasn't ready to confront his own flawed expectations of Jesus. This unwillingness to adjust his perspective led to a growing disconnection between Judas and the rest of the disciples. In one scene, Simon the Zealot, played by Alaa Safi, tries to teach Judas a lesson by showing him how to wash clothes. Simon tells Judas that while he may be learned, he lacks wisdom, emphasizing the difference between knowledge and true understanding. Alaa Safi, who plays Simon the Zealot, weighed in on Judas' struggles with honesty. He suggested that once Judas began to lie, even about small things, it became more difficult for him to tell the truth. This pattern of dishonesty became a significant part of Judas' downfall, as he was no longer able to align himself with the teachings of Jesus. Safi's insights touch on a common theme in human nature, the slippery slope of dishonesty. Once someone begins to stray from the truth, it becomes harder to return to a path of honesty and integrity. For Judas, these small lies and justifications added up, making it easier for him to betray Jesus when the opportunity arose. Both Dimyan and Swanson pointed out that one of Judas' biggest problems was his inability to slow down and truly listen to Jesus. Swanson described Judas as someone who was always focused on doing the right thing, but in his desire for perfection, he became spiritually damaged. Instead of taking the time to understand Jesus' teachings and reflect on his actions, Judas rushed through life, making one mistake after another. Dimyan humorously added that Judas just needs to calm down and take a step back. If Judas had been able to slow down and absorb what Jesus was trying to teach, perhaps his story would have unfolded differently. So, the portrayal of Judas in The Chosen offers viewers a deeper look into the possible motivations behind one of the most infamous betrayals in history. While the Gospels provide the basic outline of Judas's actions, The Chosen delves into the character's inner struggles, exploring how a series of misunderstandings, unmet expectations, dishonesty, and frustration led him to betray Jesus. By examining these factors, the show humanizes Judas, showing that his path to betrayal was a gradual one, filled with small mistakes and missteps that ultimately led to a tragic end.